3 grand drive for the breeding ewes and market lambs. I'm going to try to hold it together, guys. We're going to bring the kids in without their animals first and present the trophies and take pictures. It just goes a little quicker that way. We're going to do all the reserves first because we have a representative from Tate & Lyle. Tate & Lyle sponsors all of our trophies for reserve champion, breeding ewes, and market lambs. So that is a big deal for us, so we don't have to go out and find separate sponsors. Jacob Crum, right? Jacob Crum is here to present all of those for us, so can we give Tate & Lyle a big hand for sponsoring all of those? All right, so we're going to start with reserve champion Border Cheviot. No, reserves first. All right, Morgan's going to announce the names.
Reserve champion Border Cheviot ewe, Duncan Bates. Reserve champion Dorset Slickshorn ewe, Camry Cornell. Next to you. Reserve champion Dorset Advantage ewe, Camry Cornell. Reserve champion Hampshire ewe, Skylar Sheets. Reserve champion Natural Colored ewe, Aniston Kaiser. Reserve champion Romney ewe, Elizabeth Bunton. Reserve champion Shropshire ewe, Haley Greener. Reserve champion Southdown ewe, Winston Budrow. Reserve champion Suffolk ewe, Caitlin Ford. Reserve champion Whiteface Cross ewe, Georgie Budrow. Reserve champion Blackface Cross ewe, Riley McGee.
Okay, now we're going to move on to the champions, and they all have separate sponsors. If you do sponsor a trophy and you'd like to present it yourself, we'll need you down here for that. Along with the banner, we have a feeder for each of the champions, and those are all sponsored by the Rice family.
Champion Border Chevy at You, sponsored by Leader Lawn and Landscape, Duncan Bates. Champion Dorper U, sponsored by Channel Seed, Tessa Rice. No, we're good. Champion Dorset U, sponsored by Cornell Livestock, Blake Leader. Champion Dorset Advantage U, sponsored by Craig, Taylor, Halen, and Crew Bullington family, Riley McGee. Champion Hampshire U, sponsored by Cokert Farms, Brady Miller. The picture keeps getting closer. Champion Natural Color U, sponsored by the Hogan family, Lindley Peters. Champion Romney U, sponsored by the Gillespie family, Amelia Goodspeed. Champion Shropshire U, sponsored by Cribson Ridge Farms, Brady Miller. Champion Southdown U, sponsored by Herbert D. McCormick family, Brenna Rice. Can I see it? Champion Suffolk U, sponsored by Caleb Benjamin family, Tayton Mosley. Champion Whiteface Commercial U, sponsored by Zippy's Sharpening Service, Riley McGee. Champion Blackface Commercial U, sponsored by the Rice family, Olive Budrow.
Okay, so now we're going to bring out the kiddos with their lambs. Yeah. Before we do that, we're going to introduce our judge for tonight. and for today.
Our judge tonight is Cooper Bounds. He comes from Good Hope, Illinois, where he raises his own herd of boar goats. Cooper began his judging career at Butler Community College before getting his animal science degree from Oklahoma State University. Cooper now helps coach the livestock judging team at Western Illinois University. Do they know where to go?
Yep, I'll take it.
Reserve champion Border Cheviot U, Duncan Bates. Reserve champion Dorset U, Camry Cornell. Reserve champion Dorset Advantage U, Camry Cornell. Reserve champion Hampshire U, Skylar Sheets. Reserve champion Natural Color U, Aniston Kaiser. Reserve champion Romney U, Lizzie Bunton. Reserve champion Shropshire U, Haley Greener. Reserve champion Southdown U, Winston Budrow. Reserve champion Suffolk U, Caitlin Ford. Reserve champion Whiteface Commercial U, Georgie Budrow. Reserve champion Blackface Commercial U, Riley McGee. Champion Border Cheviot U, Duncan Bates. Champion Dorper U, Tessa Rice. Champion Dorset U, Blake Leader. Champion Dorset Advantage U, Riley McGee. Champion Hampshire U, Brady Miller. Champion Natural Color U, Lindley Peters. Champion Romney U, Amelia Goodspeed. Champion Shropshire U, Brady Miller. Champion Southdown U, Brenna Rice. Champion Suffolk U, Tayton Mosley. Champion Whiteface Cross U, Riley McGee. Champion Blackface Cross U, Olive Budrow.
We'll talk about a really, really awesome event. I know we've got a Market Lamb champion drive to go, and I'll be honest, when I got here this morning, I was like, talking to the show officials and said, hey, ladies, why are we waiting until the evening to have our champion drive? And if you kids look around and see this crowd and see this type of a venue, it makes total sense. And I think an awesome facility that enables you guys to experience that type of adrenaline rush and have this type of event. And so I think a pretty awesome event and a pretty awesome setup from that standpoint. If you guys around ringside can we put our hands together and thank the show officials for putting on an awesome event? You know, I know we've got a lot to get through, and so I don't want to get too long-winded, and we've got another Market Lamb Champion Drive to get into, and so I want to discuss the young people real briefly because I thought showmanship was tremendous there this afternoon. Really enjoyed visiting with each and every one of them, and really be able to highlight your guys' program in this type of venue. I thought was a pretty neat type of deal, and so you guys are lucky in this county. Got to attend the Tippecanoe County Fair years ago, back with the old buildings. Haven't got to see it in action in this facility, and so pretty awesome deal and blown away from that standpoint. And so hopefully you guys are grateful and thankful for that. To me, this evening we've got to put together a top 5 in our youth show. I thought our youth show was tremendously good, and obviously when we have events like this we want to get through them, but I think it's my job as a show judge to talk through kind of some of the things I'm thinking about. And so I want to briefly touch on a few of them, and then we'll get out there and select you a top 5. To me, in contention out here, started out this morning with our Dorset. And our Dorset yearling ewe is tremendously high quality. That thing is up and out, radical in terms of her look there from the side. I think one that touches phenomenally well. I think we get her back out here and get her in the mix. From a maturity standpoint, where does she fit compositionally? It's probably the one question mark in my mind, but I think one that really balances well. Thought the Dorset Advantage division was phenomenally good, and that young lady that exhibited that sheep had several out here that made it to the final lineup. She does a great job. I think that's a very high quality sheep that's in contention. Our Slick Hampshire show was tremendously good. The representative out of that particular division, crazy bodied, crazy stout, crazy big touching. I think a very muscular one that needs some recognition. We get back down to our Shropshire, and I think this is when the water really starts to get thick and deep down here. To me, that is a wild looking animal, and she is super short-bladed and radically round in terms of her rib cage. You guys watched her parade in here. Skeleton is phenomenally good, and I think that's one that looks like those pictures that we talk about, kids drawing on their notebooks in school. That thing is maxed out from that regard. I think that is a show-winning look, if you will, there from the side. The South Down is one that needs to be talked about for her breed. I think that is one that is tremendously good. And to be honest with you, I hate that I just used that expression because regardless of her breed, I think that's just good livestock. Tremendously bulky bodied and big and square in terms of her hip. I think that's one that's in contention as well. Maybe not as just radical and exotic as the one we just talked about, but definitely good stock. And then the winners out of our last 2 divisions I think are tremendously good. Whiteface Cross is one that we love in terms of her presence. I think that thing out here motoring around is awesome in terms of her build quality. You study her proportionally compared to a couple others that we've talked about, maybe a notch harder there in terms of her underline and the way that all ties together. And then we had a tremendous blackface show, and that's a very special animal, and I think that's one that composes herself at a high level. I think that she is tremendously bold in her forerib, up and out there in terms of her neck and her extension, and she's powerful where she needs to be, but feminine where she needs to be. If you're going to get just a little bit critical on her in comparison to maybe one other one out here, I thought In Motion maybe made just a nickel bit higher at the top of her hip relative to the top of her blade. And aside from that, though, I think just really special stock. And so we've got a ton of representatives out here. We got to get 5 through. We got an awesome crowd. If you guys can, let's put our hands together, make this special for these kids. I'll get you a top 5.
they don't, but we can announce if they don't get an award. Yes. Got one more. Okay. Lots of first year members this year. Okay, so now we're going to do some special awards. The first thing we're going to do is our first year members, and they get a halter partially sponsored by Pearl Farms and partially sponsored by Travis and Allie Sheets. Our first year member is Spencer Bates. You can go grab them. You guys want to give him a halter? Oh.
Maybe we can go over here and let her choose while they wait.
Well, wait. I have him in order.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Winston Bedrow. Cade Cox. Carson Dice. Nathaniel Dice. Brecken Good. Lauren Hankins. Eleanor Heffer. Ruby Heffer. Molly Ivy. Aniston Kaiser. Wyatt Miller. Stella Rule. Henry Sluter. Wade Sipple. Annabelle Smith. Chase Stover. Candace Sweet. Bella Wyckoff. Okay, pretty good group of first year members, guys.
Yeah, and then showmanship. Yep, and then we'll do champs and Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. She's here. She's waiting. If you want to do Daniel first. That's her.
We have 3 10-year members, and they receive a $100 sponsor, and they're sponsored by the first one is Daniel Conrad, and his sponsor is Brian and Jeannie Benjamin family, and Ellie Benjamin will present that award. Here. The next 10-year member is Brady Miller, and his award is sponsored by Rob and Lindsay Ford. Not the last, but the final 10-year member is Cooper Rose, and his award is sponsored by the Mike Conrad family and is presented by Daniel Conrad. Daniel, I need you to stay up here for a second. Okay. Kia? Yeah. So we have a special award that this is our second year to give. A few years ago, we lost a special member of our sheep family to cancer. And the family asked if they could give an award in her honor. And the award is a Shining Star Award. And so together with the family, Paula and I meet and we collaborate on someone who we feel is deserving of this award and is someone who would make Braley proud. And so they get an award and $100, and the winner this year is Daniel Conrad. Is Tyler Zimmerman up here by any chance? So we also give a special award each year, and it's called the Herdsman Award, and this is an award where we watch not only today, but throughout the year. And for the past 2 years, Tyler has mentored younger 4-H members and helped them with their project all throughout the summer. And so this award is sponsored by Pearl Farms. It's a $50 award, and so Tyler is very deserving of this award. Okay, now we're going to give showmanship awards.
Champion Beginner Showman, Winston Budrow. His award is sponsored by Reese Insurance. Champion Junior Showman, Cameron Cornell. Her award is sponsored by Crimson Ridge Farms. Champion Intermediate Showman, Skylar Sheets. Her award is sponsored by Mike and Cindy DeGoyer family. Champion Senior Showman, Cash Holmes. His award is sponsored by Mullins Family Concessions. Grand Champion Sheep Showman, Cash Holmes. His award is sponsored by Tippecanoe Youth Livestock Association.
Huh? No, Grand Champion. It says. Okay.
Reserve Grand Champion Showman, Riley McGee. Her award is sponsored by Tippecanoe Youth Livestock Association.
The beginner showman also received the hanging show box sponsored by the Leader family. Okay, one more special award, Champion Rate to Gain. The banner is sponsored by Pearl Farms. This year's winner, did I write it down?
I thought it was Eleanor somebody. Where'd you write it?
Ruby Huffer, 0.76 pounds per day. Eleanor Huffer, sorry, Eleanor Huffer, 0.76. Wrong one. Eleanor, there's too many Huffers. And the Eleanor, Ruby, whichever. I just said, sorry, my mind is not good today. Yeah. You want to come out here? The last award is a Herbert McCormick Achievement Award. This award has been given for many years, and it's a special formula that we have to figure, and it is for members that have been in 4-H for 4 or more years, and we have to go through and calculate the placings that they got versus how many animals are in that class, and they get so many points. You have to divide it. It's a long formula. If you would like to see it, I'll be happy to show it to you. However, the award this year goes to Cash Homes. Okay, Jacob, we're ready for you again. Okay, we're ready to start with all of our Reserve Champion Market Lamb Awards. Jacob's going to come back out here and present all the awards for Tate and Lyle. We're going to start with Reserve Champion Dorset Market Lamb, Winston Bedrow. Reserve Champion Hampshire Market Lamb, Skylar Sheets. Reserve Champion Natural Color Market Lamb, Stella Rule. Reserve Champion Oxford Market Lamb, Cade Cox. Reserve Champion Shropshire Market Lamb, Skylar Sheets. Reserve Champion Southdown Market Lamb, Brock Peters. Reserve Champion Suffolk Market Lamb, Carter Hatkey. Reserve Champion Whiteface Cross Market Lamb, Owen Kaiser. And Reserve Champion Blackface Cross Market Lamb, Lindley Peters. Okay, now for the champions. Champion Dorset Market Lamb, sponsored by Hunter Nutrition, Riley McGee. Champion Hampshire Market Lamb, sponsored by the Wyckoff family, Cash Homes. Champion Natural Color Market Lamb, sponsored by the Smith family, Cash Homes. Champion Oxford Market, champ, Champion Oxford Market Lamb, sponsored by Mike and Kim Pinto, is Skylar Sheets. Who's got? Champion Shropshire Market Lamb, sponsored by Gerald Kelly, Cash Homes. Champion Southdale Market Lamb, sponsored by the Rice family, Brady Miller. Champion Suffolk Market Lamb, sponsored by Seatsmas Heating and Air, Lauren Hankins. Champion Whiteface Commercial, sponsored by Hunter Nutrition, is Ella Franklin. Champion Blackface Commercial, sponsored by Hunter Nutrition, Cash Homes.
Keep it on to bring them in. You want me to do it or you want to do it?
So along with the banners that they received, all of the Market Lamb champions will receive a tumbler sponsored by Longhorn Lawn and Landscape, which is also my son's business right back here. All right, so we're going to bring in the reserves just like we did on the breeding ewes, and then the champions. But one more time, let's give Cooper a big round of applause for coming to judge our show today.
Reserve Champion Dorset, Winston Budrow. Reserve Champion Hampshire, Skylar Sheets. Reserve Champion Natural Color, Stella Rule. Reserve Champion Oxford, Cade Cox. Reserve Champion Shropshire, Skylar Sheets. Reserve Champion Southdown, Brock Peters. Reserve Champion Suffolk, Carter Hatkey. Reserve Champion Whiteface Cross, Owen Kaiser. Reserve Champion Blackface Cross, Lindley Peters. Champion Dorset, Riley McGee. Champion Hampshire, Cash Holmes. Champion Natural Color, Cash Holmes. Champion Oxford, Skylar Sheets. Champion Shropshire, Cash Holmes. Champion Southdown, Brady Miller. Champion Suffolk, Lauren Hankins. Champion Whiteface Commercial, Ella Franklin. Champion Blackface Commercial, Cash Holmes.
Well, again, I thought a phenomenal set of market lambs, and watching those champions and reserves come rolling in that entry gate once again kind of gets my blood pumped up. Really enjoyed myself today working with young people and helping evaluate the livestock. And so thanks again to the show committee for having me out. Blown away by the facility, by the management, and making everything come together extra smooth. And so if you guys would, around ringside again, let's put our hands together, congratulate them. I'm definitely not one for big prepared speeches, and so the only thing that's kind of going across my mind in terms of a message to you young people out here would be to be grateful. And so thinking about the people that are probably around right now that have helped get you to this point in terms of managing your show project, breeders, mentors, family members, extension agents, things of that nature. Make sure that they know that you're thankful. Make sure that you are thankful first, and then make sure that they know and understand that, because that's primarily what those people operate on, is knowing that their efforts aren't in vain, and knowing that what they're doing does make a difference. And so I would encourage all of you, if you do feel that way, that you let those people know. Market Lamb Show is tremendously good, and again, I don't want to get too long-winded, but I do want to talk through what's going through my mind in terms of constructing a top 5 out here. And so we'll talk through them briefly. The ones that are in contention. Young lady up front with the Dorset. I think that thing is built like an absolute Mack truck. Coming at you, opened up and wide and powerful, yet stays athletic in terms of his skeleton, in terms of his muscle texture. I think one that is definitely in contention out here. We go to our next breed, our Hamp, and I think one that is really impressive. We talked him in class, being phenomenal in terms of how just square built he is. Giant in terms of his upper rump, huge in terms of his stifle, his bone, and his feature match. If you're going to get critical on him from the profile, I'd like to jam him up in his chest and just make him more elevated in that regard, but I do think that one is definitely in contention out here. I thought our blue division was quite good. To me, we used the more moderate and just chunky one of the group. Get him back out here, and I like how good that one touches and handles in comparison to a couple others out here. Could he be a notch more attractive in terms of the set to his hind leg? He sure could. I thought he was the athlete of that pair. The one, and we'll just talk through them. Young ladies, I believe this is our Schropp, or I believe that's our Schropp coming next. I think Oxford. Our Oxford was very good in terms of extension, in terms of length and levelness. We talked that one needing to be just a little bit stouter in terms of power and shape. This next one really gets me fired up, and one of my favorites coming directly at me. That one hits the entryway and is opened up in terms of his chest, yet stays really attractive in terms of his build. I think that's one that probably gets better in motion than he is on the standstill. On the stand, we talked in division having just a little bit more set to his rear wheel, but man, that thing is really impressive as he's motoring. I like that one quite well. The downer was very good, and hate to use the expression, but for a downer, I think one that is awesome in terms of muscularity, in terms of leanness. I think a big outline sheep that looks like a show animal from the profile. Young lady Suffolk was awesome in terms of his build, really extended, really attractive. Need to maybe be just a little bit stouter in terms of bone and feature. Young lady sheep that comes next out of her white face, big fur, and we talked that one in class. If he's got enough in terms of rump and punch, then I think that's one that we can tie into. I think one that's very elevated and attractive from that standpoint. And then I thought both our crosses were phenomenally good. Young man sheep out of the heavyweight cross division just had more to them in terms of cage, in terms of power, in terms of punch, and I think to put that type of muscularity on a skeleton that still balances in the manner that his does, I think is really special. Guys, that's my thoughts on the sheep. If we can, once again, put our hands together, congratulate all these young people. We'll get you a top 5.